She said no. 2 words. That's all it took to send shockwaves through every hallway backstage at WWE. 2 words that Vince McMahon, if he were still running the show, would have never allowed to exist. 2 words that, according to sources close to the situation, have now put one of WWE's biggest female stars on a collision course with the front office. Liv Morgan has reportedly rejected WWE's new contract offer. And here's the part that should make every single one of you absolutely furious. The reason she said no isn't about money. It isn't about creative. It isn't about her wanting out of the spotlight. It's about respect, and WWE apparently doesn't think she deserves it. Stay right here, because before WrestleMania 42 is over, one of the most polarizing, most talked about women in professional wrestling today may be walking out of that company for good, and the details behind why are more damning than anything you've seen play out on television. Welcome back to WrestleScope, the channel where we don't just talk wrestling, we break it down, we go deep, and we tell you what the mainstream outlets are too scared to say. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because today's video is exactly the kind of content we live for. And if you've been here before, you already know. Let's get into it. To understand why this contract rejection matters and why WWE should be deeply alarmed, you have to understand what Liv Morgan has become over the past 2 years. This is not the Liv Morgan who was a fun undercard presence in the Riot Squad. This is not the woman who got a sympathetic crowd pop and a valiant loss on the big stage. This is the Liv Morgan who seized every single opportunity handed to her, turned it into something bigger than it was scripted to be, and forced WWE's creative team to pivot around her rather than the other way around. Her women's championship reigns were controversial, intentionally so. WWE leaned into the character, leaned into the heat, leaned into the spectacle. And what happened? Liv Morgan became appointment television. She became the name people typed into search bars. She became merchandise. She became moments. And here's what makes the story so explosive. Liv Morgan goes into WrestleMania 42 with legitimate leverage. Her contract is winding down. The timing is not accidental. Sources suggest she's been strategic about this, deliberately reaching the end of her deal at a moment when WWE cannot afford to lose her mid-build. She held the cards, and WWE's front office apparently didn't play theirs very well. Now here's where it gets genuinely infuriating, and I want you to really think about this. According to reports that have been circulating within wrestling insider communities, the contract WWE presented to Liv Morgan contained terms that were strikingly inconsistent with what male talent at comparable levels of popularity are receiving. We're talking about a gap in guaranteed dates, a gap in creative consultation rights, and, most damningly, a compensation structure that allegedly doesn't reflect her actual value to the brand. Let that sink in. A woman who headlined events, a woman whose storylines drove social media engagement to record levels for the women's division, a woman who, by any measurable standard, outperformed expectations on the biggest stages WWE has to offer, and the company came to the table with a deal that reportedly felt like a slap in the face. And this is the unique twist in the story that almost nobody is talking about. It's not just the money, it's the clause. Sources indicate that WWE's offer included a creative control clause that would have significantly limited Liv's ability to develop her character organically, the very thing that made her great. In essence, WWE wanted to lock down the asset while simultaneously chaining it. They wanted Liv Morgan, but they wanted a version of Liv Morgan they could control completely, package completely, and market on their terms only. She looked at that contract, and she said no. Here's what makes this story genuinely fascinating from a professional wrestling perspective. Liv Morgan is not walking out the door right now. She's not pulling a CM Punk promo at ringside and vanishing into the night. She is, by all accounts, going to honor her current deal through WrestleMania 42. And that should terrify WWE's creative team. Because here's the thing about a performer who knows they're leaving. They have nothing to lose. Every match becomes a calling card. Every promo becomes a highlight reel audition. Every moment in front of that camera becomes something she owns entirely, because she knows the next chapter is being written somewhere else. WrestleMania 42 may very well be the last time Liv Morgan performs under a WWE contract. And if that's true, if these reports are accurate, then what we are about to witness could be one of the most emotionally charged, creatively unleashed performances of her entire career. The question now isn't whether Liv Morgan is leaving. According to the sources closest to this story, that ship has sailed. The question is, where is she going? And what does that mean for the landscape of professional wrestling in 2026 and beyond? Now, I want to give you something you haven't heard anywhere else, because the predictable take is AEW. That's the obvious destination every wrestling pundit is going to point you toward. And look, it's not wrong. AEW would absolutely pursue Liv Morgan. The signing would be a major headline. But here's the angle that's being completely overlooked.
TNA Wrestling, formerly Impact, has been quietly, methodically building one of the most credible women's divisions in the industry, and they have something AEW currently doesn't, a women's division that is the centerpiece of the brand, not a supporting act, a place where Liv Morgan wouldn't be competing for position on a stacked roster, she'd be the position. And then there's the wild card nobody's ready to discuss yet, the potential of an independent run. The idea that Liv Morgan, savvy, business-minded, and with a fan base that will follow her literally anywhere, could leverage her freedom to build something entirely on her own terms. Podcasts, social media, international tours, her own brand. She has the audience, she has the look, she has the momentum. Liv Morgan free from a corporate contract might actually be the most dangerous version of Liv Morgan that professional wrestling has ever seen. Let's be absolutely direct about something. If WWE loses Liv Morgan over a contract dispute rooted in undervaluation, that is a catastrophic failure of talent management. Full stop. This is a pattern. We have watched WWE over and over again underestimate talent until that talent forces the issue, burns enough bridges, or simply leaves. We watched it with CM Punk. We watched it with Cody Rhodes, a man who had to leave and become a star elsewhere before WWE decided he was worth main eventing WrestleMania. We watched versions of it with countless others. And now, allegedly, we are watching it happen to a woman who gave this company everything she had, reinvented herself multiple times, delivered when it counted, and is being rewarded with a contract that doesn't reflect her actual worth. The women's division has fought for years for the kind of investment and spotlight that would make moments like Liv Morgan's championship reigns feel legitimate and lasting. And if WWE's response to a top-tier women's star asking for fair terms is to lowball her and add a creative control clause that strips her agency, then every person who cheered for progress in this industry should be furious. This is not just a Liv Morgan story. This is a statement about how WWE values its women when the cameras are off and the contracts are on the table. Alright, I want to hear from you, and I mean this genuinely. Was Liv Morgan right to reject this contract, or do you think WWE's offer was fair and she's making a mistake? And where do you think she ends up? AEW, TNA, or does she go completely independent and build her own empire? Drop your answers in the comments below. And if you think someone else needs to see this story, share this video right now, because this is the kind of wrestling news that actually matters, and not enough people are talking about it. Here's the bottom line on WrestleScope today. Liv Morgan reportedly rejected WWE's new contract offer because the terms were unfair, and if the details we've outlined today are accurate, you can't blame her. WrestleMania 42 may be her final WWE chapter, and wherever she lands next, professional wrestling will be better for having a performer this determined, this resilient, and this unafraid to bet on herself. As always, if you got value from this video, do us a favor, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps more wrestling fans find this channel, and it tells us you want more content exactly like this. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we are dropping videos on the biggest stories in wrestling every single week, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. And leave a comment, seriously. This comment section is one of the best wrestling communities on YouTube. Prove me right today. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep questioning what you're told, and never stop watching. This is WrestleScope. We'll see you in the next one.